What's up, world? This is your guy, Guitar K, and today's video is about, can men and women just be friends and not sleep with each other? I think the answer is yes. Boys and girls, now, not so much. If you're a mature adult who's working on yourself, who live by some values and morals today, you live by principles, you can do what you say you're going to do. Your yeses mean yes, and your no means no. And you value the strengthening effects of true friendship. You're not going to ruin that friendship with your horniness. You're just not going to let something like that happen. I would say that if you can't be around the opposite sex and not have sex with them, you are untrustworthy. I can't trust you. You can't even trust yourself. Keep it in your pants. Ruining a friendship over just one night of lust is crazy at the end of the day if you think about it. If you think about all the benefits that true, lasting, real friendship can bring you, and you put that up against sex, it's just not even in the same stadium, man. Check this out. A lot of people confuse intimacy with having sex. Two totally different things. You can have an intimate relationship with a female and never have sex with her. You can have an intimate relationship with the same sex, and it doesn't make you, I don't know what the word I can use today, but you understand what I'm saying. Can men and women just be friends, man? Look, mature, disciplined adults who are working on themselves, and like I said, you understand what a real friend is, you're not going to want to ruin that friendship, especially not for a little wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, or one night stand, or none of that. It's not worth it. Back when I was a teenager and I was young, dumb, and full of cum, those are the type of choices that I did make. But now that I'm older and grown, I understand. Friends, how many of us have them? Look. For one moment of weakness and lust, you're willing to throw all that friendship out the door and all the benefits that friendship might bring you. Look, keep it in your pants, young lady. Keep it in your pants, young sir. If y'all just friends, don't go there. If you can't do this, you're untrustworthy. Who can trust you? Nobody. You can't even trust yourself. Look, until you learn to control the desires of your flesh, they're going to control you. Look, you got to use the energy that God gives you to practice some self-control and some discipline. Now, I know that the lust is in us and the fire is in us. But did you know that you can transmute that energy into something bigger and greater than just trying to sleep with everybody? That's the same fire that you can use to get out here and be your best self. That's the same fire that you can use to get out here and reach your goals. But if you're only using all your best creativity and ideas and your best moves just to get sex, you're going to hit that ceiling so fast and you're going to be stuck in a slavery cycle of wanting to hit this, wanting to hit that. Practice some self-control, man. Practice some discipline. Don't waste all your energy on indulging. Use some of that energy to build, to create, to become great. Look, I know sex feels great, but it's never going to make you great. It's never going to help you reach your full potential. So you got to understand and be able to weigh options and prioritize things today, man. Why is sex so high up on the list that you're willing to ruin friendship for it? I don't know. But yet and still, it happens so much, man. Look, you still got an immature mindset if that's the type of stuff you're willing to do. And you need to do some work on yourself. We all got fire inside of us, but all of us is not out of control. Some of us can control our sexual urges. Some of us have self-control. We have discipline. Look, I could never become great and reach my full potential without self-control and discipline. If you can't commit to a friendship, what can you commit to? That's a good question, man. If you can't do what you say you're going to do and not do what you say you're not going to do, you're never going to reach your full potential. You're never going to break the immature cycle of just instant gratification and just running through life like a Tasmanian devil just to, I guess, sow your royal oats like Prince Hakeem from Coming to America. Look, I know that it's hard, but it's doable. You got to do it. It takes practice. It takes commitment. It takes a want to not do it. You got to be intentional with it. You got to learn the word no. You got to learn to control your legs to get up and walk out of certain situations. It's no such thing as you just fell into some. It don't happen like that, man. And young ladies, there's no way you're just going to fall onto somebody's. It's just not going to happen that way. You got to do some action to that. You got to put some work in to do that. And the same work that you use to putting it into doing it, work on yourself to control yourself, to not always be going to bed with everybody. Look, when we decide to stop chasing pleasure and we start chasing purpose, everything changes. You can transmute that inner fire to a more beneficial, more productive mindset and change a different course of action. Stop doing the things that you used to do. Start doing something new today. Look, I don't care how good he or she looks. If you can't resist it, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to them. Admit your weaknesses and your faults and do what you need to do to get better and stronger. Don't even put yourself in a situation. If you know you're a freaking geek and you can't resist seeing a little bit of thigh up the side of your eye, maybe you don't need to be having Netflix and chill with somebody that you know you're not trying to ruin your relationship with. I'm just saying, man. Look, but that's if that's what you want to do. But if you're still a little boy, holler at me when you grow up, man. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. If you commit to a friendship and ruin it because you're a freaky leak, look, you'll ruin anything because of your freaky leakings and your sexual urges. Like you said, we can't trust you with nothing because you can't even trust yourself. Look, y'all ruin lives and marriages and jobs and plans. Look, until you can master your emotions and your desires, look, you unpredictable and untrustworthy. You're a slave to your own flesh. You're a slave to your own urges. You're never going to be your true great self when you're still living in that mindset. You will always find, it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. So you're always going to be living through life injured and whining and complaining and feeling negative and think you need somebody to help you and save you. Look, in order to be your best self, you got to be able to control your emotions. You got to be able to control your desires. You got to be able to say no to some things. You got to be able to turn down anything that's not in active line with you reaching your goals and you being the best person that you could be. If it goes against your morals, values, and principles, don't mess with it. I don't know why it's so hard. But even though it's hard, you still got to do it. Look. Males, females can just be friends. If you become a man or woman of your word, you learn to value friendship more than sex. So the question is not, can it happen? The question is, what are you willing to do to ensure that you can keep it in your pants and practice some self-control and discipline today and be able to have a good platonic, intimate relationship with someone of the opposite sex and not sleep with them? Think about what I'm saying. This is your guy, Guitar K. Be more